Hello everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Kathy from the Daily Marker, and my project today is part of an Altenew blog hop. There's a giveaway on my blog and 2 bonus cards, so I hope you'll be able to check that out. That's a mouthful. So I'm really thrilled to be a part of this, and I'm using this stamp set called A Beautiful Heart and the leaf frame cover die. So much fun. Now I wanted to show you how you could take, in this beautiful heart stamp set, there's a one size flower because it's a layering stamp, and I created 3 flowers with that one single flower. So I'll show you how I do that and a little bit of coloring. You can see there's a big large one, and then to the right there's a medium size, and then there's a small one. And then I made some stems for the flowers. I love making bouquets and adding stems. And that's super easy, and I'll show you that. So I started with the leaf frame cover die first. I cut 2 layers of white foam and glued them together, and now I'm putting down the white cardstock on top. So I decided to keep it in the die cut here so that my foam doesn't go a little wonky and I don't have to squiggle it around to get it all lined up and everything. This worked really well. So I have 2 layers of white foam and then 1 piece of cardstock on top. And I just want it to be like a simple background. I love this frame and I really wanted to use it, and it's very, very versatile. So I like to use glossy accents because I really feel like it really holds it together forever. And also, when you're doing something like this, though, you have to work a little bit quicker because glossy accents does dry so quickly. You could use a glue as well and just give it a lot longer to dry. So once I line up the cardstock, and this actually I wanted to show you that it'd be cool to put that down with 2 different directions. So I put a block on there to hold that down and get it really secure, and then I set it aside and let that just get nice and glued and dry while I do my coloring. That's a Martha Stewart acrylic block, and I just leave it on there and it works really well. So I've stamped all 3 flowers here, and now I'm going to just put a layer of color on the leaves. A lot of times I like to use a yellow to start and then bring in the green. So I'm just I'm not sure which leaves I'm going to use yet, so I just want to put a first layer of color on there, and then I'm going to add some dark green and some lighter green. So while you watch me do this, let me explain. This is called, a lot of people call it feathering, and when I travel around doing the Coloring Challenge road trip, I talk about the hand motion, so far it's made sense. That's what I've heard. So let me explain that to you. I haven't done that in a while. Now first, you want to have a relaxed hand, and I'd suggest you practice. It's easier to do if you're not die cutting it. So anyways, and you have a leaf or a petal that's a large open area. Don't even bother trying it if you have a tiny little petal or leaf. It's just not worth it. It's just frustrating. Okay, so with that said, imagine you have a broom in your hand, and when you're sweeping with that broom, you push down, to gather the dirt and everything, and then you lift up to move it. So you're pushing and lifting, and you're doing that with your arms, moving that dirt. So it's the same motion with your hand and your fingers. So you're pushing down with that marker. Don't be afraid. You cannot ruin that tip. So you push down, and then you lift up. And if you just practice on scrap paper, push down and lift up, I think it helps you get that motion of that feathering look. There's also, sometimes I think the feathering look gives you an artistic look, and sometimes I prefer some color mashing where you just let the alcohol and the markers just mash that color on and it blends it for you, and you don't have this feathered look. So I go in phases, just like I go in phases when I'm cooking. So that's how I get my feathering. And try it moving your hand away from your body and towards your body and see if you get a different look. But you can kind of tell that my hand is relaxed. Don't think about it. Now I'm taking a medium color and flicking on top of that dark color, and that softens the darkness and it blends it a little bit more. But I want to keep those lines today. I want that artistic look on these leaves. So I put down my light color first, then I put down the darker color, and now I'm adding a medium color. So it's that simple, just takes a little bit of practice. And again, these leaves are a nice size. It allows for room for the feathering. Plus, I don't have to, I'm going to cut these out, so I don't have to worry about leaving a border around the image. And, bring back the cutting. It's super easy to do, and it gives you more room, more freedom if you like this feathered look. So just keep that in mind. I hope that helps. But a relaxed hand. And don't worry, you can't ruin that tip. Now, the other side of these Altenew markers is a nib, which is fabulous. I'm on my blog. I'll have another card that I'm working on right now, and there's some small, tight spaces, and it's perfect to use that nib for. Also, the nib is great if you want to make like perfect little dots, or if you're coloring in a coloring book. And when I travel, I use these markers with my Copics. So you can use this with other alcohol markers as well. And I really, truly do love these. I bring them on my road trips so everyone can see them and try them. Once I finish coloring these, I'm going to add a stem so that I can make a bouquet. And then I went ahead and I stamped the sentiment with some Altenew black ink. And then this will go in the center of the background, and then I'll put the bouquet on top. Super fun. So I put this in slow-mo because it was a quick little clip, but you can see the trio of leaves on the left. I only colored 2 of them, and then you can see the tail. I drew like a tail for a stem, and then I can work that into my bouquet. It's super easy. And I love doing it. So now here's the fun part. So I've stamped the flower 3 times, and I'm going to black out the petals that I don't want. I'm creating, I want to create a smaller flower from this big one. So I'm just scribbling it out so I don't color the whole thing. It's a waste of time. And then I can see what I'm coloring as well. And now I'm going to cross out with my black marker just some petals that go around the large flower again, and then so I'm creating a medium-sized flower. So then I have a small, a medium, and a large flower, and then I'm going to color those with these wonderful markers. And then I'm just going to fussy cut everything, and then I'll take a marker and go around the image so you don't see any white lines. Now, I just thought I wanted to show you, I'm showing you the bullet tip that you can use that with some flicking as well. It does work if you're not comfortable with it or whatever. The edge, the flicking just doesn't go quite as like sharp when you have a really relaxed hand. I think you know what I mean. So, so I wanted to show you, you can do that. Or you could color mash it and you won't even see the lines. And color mashing again is where you just work, you put like a medium color and a light color together, or a dark and a light, and you just keep on blending it until you have a color variation between the 2 colors and you don't see any lines. And I call that color mashing. That's no one else. I mean, it's not an official term. So I'm doing some feathering on the largest flower here, and I have my relaxed hand. I'm just flicking towards the center of the image, and I'm just trying to keep that a light area, a sweet spot. And I'm not doing all the lines the same size. You might want to notice it's kind of like a W on the end. The edges, it's a little bit shorter line. In the center of each petal, it's a little bit longer. And then I'm going to use a medium color on top of this to soften these sharp lines, but I still want to see the lines. I'm going for that artistic look with my flowers today. I know there's going to be so many gorgeous cards in this blog hop, so I try and think of something that's a little bit different, because I love it when people layer them on a card, kind of like creating a frame. I just think it's so exquisite. So I just thought I'd try and do something a little bit different, and hopefully you like it. So I'm just going to be doing this little bit of coloring right here, and then we'll talk about the stems and just finishing the card. My video card went dead on me, so I need to get a new memory card. Even though I deleted stuff, it still didn't work. So I have to figure that out. But I'm glad I got this amount to show you of this coloring, because when I do the lighter color, just like I did on the leaves, I'm going to do the same thing here on the petals, and then I'll be fussy cutting it. And I'll have more information on my blog. So here I want to show you the little center dots I made larger to make them stand out a little bit more, and then I added white in the center of the little stamens, and then I added a little black dot on top of that, and you'll see that in the end photo. But don't be afraid to enlarge these little details. I think it gives it more pop. You can see on the petals I put a darker purple on top of the light and the medium, and I blended that out a little bit more. So these are, you can see the dots. There's where I enlarged the black, then there's white, and then there's a little speck dot on top. And then these are the stems. I just literally free cut, I didn't worry about the shape of it. I just wanted to be slightly askew. And then I colored them black. And then I colored some twine with one of the markers, and I glued that on there. And now I'm going to bring them all together, and I'll layer them up with some different size foam. I also did a white line down the petals of the leaves. So now they're staggered. Like I wanted the center flower to pop more, and then I wanted like 3 different heights. So sometimes I put foam tape on top of foam tape, so it really stands out beyond the other flowers, which I did with the center flower. And that way it just makes everything pop. And then I lifted some of the leaves up, curled them a little bit towards me. That's one of the advantages of cutting it out versus the die cut. You can just kind of lift and fold and give yourself a little bit more dimension that way. And then here you go. I just glued the ends down onto this frame. And then once that was solid and dry, I always use glossy accents. Then I could remove the foam tape and stick that down on top of my layered frame, my cover die. And then I added some sequins. So it's very dimensional. It's kind of hard to tell in this photo, but I really hope you like it. But I love adding stems and then just kind of rearranging the leaves. It's really fun and rewarding to kind of create your own image. And I love what the leaf cover die did for this. It's just kind of subtle but textural. So hop on over to my blog for a few more details, thedailymarker.com, and a giveaway. And have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you subscribe.